Our next summit will be May the 28th. This summit will be a coaching summit. So we'll feature all the providers on our platform that are coaches. Will get a speaking slot at this summit. It will be probably an all-day event, depending on how many of you can attend. It will be live at first and live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube like last year. And then the roundtable for the providers that are not coaches, like Charlotte's an energy healer, our acupuncturists, our chiropractors, our nutritionists like Lori Graham, Dr. Kristen Barnes, our naturopath. They will be able to attend at the roundtable.
Perfect. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully all of you have at least seen this landing page that we've created for the group. All of the different individuals will have their own expert area inside of the site where they can keep and manage all of their clients on the platform, including the telehealth feature, which I'll get into as we go through this demonstration. So this is the landing page, and it comes in with all of the different features. By the way, those different what we call specialties have been added to the platform. We were missing a few, like acupuncture was not part of it. If you are in that any of those areas that weren't showing up, they're now there that you can select as your expertise or specialty. So we have these, and they'll probably be upgraded and putting more text and information in here along with all of these different screens. These can be changed by you because obviously if you're the last one in here, not too many people are going to stay on the screen to see sound, healing. So these order of these can be changed by Sam, and he can change them daily, weekly, however he wants to, so that you're not going to be always at the back of the list if you're currently there. Then when you do click on the login screen, the login will take you in because you have management permissions. It's going to take you into the management area of the site. There's typically 4 different options that might be coming in based on your permission levels. We're going to focus primarily today on the expert side of it so that you understand what's available. And obviously, we're recording this for anyone who hasn't attended, but it'll also give you the opportunity to review it 2 or 3 times until you understand how the functionality works in the platform. So as an expert, first thing is you're going to be able to create an expert profile. The expert profile is going to allow you to put in all of your information, including possibly a patient intake form, which is one of the things that we'll get into today and showing you how to build those forms. So you can also hide your profile from being available to everyone in the system. And you can share the profile because we are building a number of different sites that will bring in all of the different practitioners from all of our different communities so that we can help give you guys business on a regular basis. This should probably be coming into play as early as next week. So we have sites for nutritionists and we have sites for personal trainers, and all of them will be coming in based on the credentials or the specialties that you guys have. So in addition to the decent med, if you want, it can be expanded into other areas. We do have the ability to customize a platform, which would basically be building a community uniquely to your brand. Obviously, this is all done with the Decent Med brand and the colors and the logo and everything that we have, but we can create them uniquely to your practice if that's something that you're looking for as well. So inside the expert profile, you're going to pick a specialty and more, and you can see I'll go ahead and use I think it was acupuncture. Yeah, so you can see that's been added. So you can add in any of those specialties that you guys perform. I would caution you not to put in things that you're not in the capability of, because when people search, we want them to find you based on your specialties. And then testimonials, you can add one or more testimonials here with regard to success stories that you might have with clients, whether it's losing weight or mental health or whatever it might be. You can add those in. When you add them in, you can either put them in as a before and after picture like this one. You can put in a story of how you worked with that particular client to accomplish those goals. You can put in a headline that'll show up on the member page, and then I recommend that you do not put in the full name. That does allow somebody to search and possibly harass an individual, but usually the first name and the last initial is a good place to do that. Availability, in order for your profile to show up on the main page and be available for other people to find, you need to have in at least one timeline that you're available, either virtual or in person, to accept a telemedicine call. So obviously, hopefully you're putting in all the time slots that you're available to do that, either virtual or in person, and that allows people to find you and then schedule an appointment with you in your calendar. We also have require at least one of these prices are put in. You can charge whatever price that you would like for these. And if one is marked as not available, it just means you're not offering it. So if you want to offer athletic training, you would simply check the 30-minute or 60-minute option, put your price in for that particular event and save it. And what that does is it now makes 60-minute athletic training coaching opportunities for somebody to schedule with you. The preview the profile uh, just allows you to put in your specialties and see what everything looks like when it comes into the platform. So this one, as you can see, is with a Dr. Grimes and where his address is. And if you don't want to show your phone number, you can see that they have hidden their phone number from showing. You may not want to put your street address. You might want to just put the city, state, and zip. All of those are options that you can do in the profile process by simply checking this box. So if I don't want the phone number to show, I check the box to hide on the profile, and that no longer will show. And I can do the same thing for any of the other parts of this address that I want to potentially hide.
Don, so we got a question. This was
Yeah.
coming from Dr. Teresa Volner. She
Uh-huh.
said, "Can it be integrated with my Google Calendar?"
Yes, it does integrate with the Google Calendar. This is done, and when you're creating all of the information, it does give you the option to connect so that if an appointment is taken, it will reflect that on your Google Calendar as well. I don't believe that the Apple Calendar is quite done yet, but I know that that's something that's being worked on. And then you probably have all noticed that there's a business associates agreement that needs to be filled out and signed. That's just to obviously make sure that you understand the HIPAA regulations and how to keep all of the membership or patient data private. And so that just goes through that process. Obviously, that's been signed by many. There's no trick questions in there. There's no funding or money that's needed for that. It just authenticates that you understand HIPAA and the business associates agreement side of it. Once you have filled all of that information out and you've gone into it, then it will appear on this page here is what we call the member page. In the member page, it allows you to put in any of the information from a patient or client side of it brought to you by whoever the clinician that might be working with you or you working with your patients are trying to deliver. This information can be selected by the consumer. So I can come in here and change a meal plan and I can look at these plans. And I'm also going to show you a pretty substantial upgrade to this. These are the plans which is considered our version 1 of our nutrition. So you can see here we had 7 different plans. I think we now have 15 different plans, and this is going to be launching next week. I will give you a brief glimpse of that also. But this goes all the way down to a client being able to get a grocery list of what they need to buy at the store between a certain date range. It allows them to change their meal plan to anything that works for them. You can see also here, you might take notice that there's about 10 different meal choice options, which are the ethnicity or the flavors and spices of foods that your patients enjoy eating. We've expanded that to 32 different ethnicities now. And I'll give you a glimpse of that version 2 nutrition that's coming out. We've also expanded the protein sources all the way down to things like mushrooms that I had no idea personally that included any kind of protein in them, but apparently there is protein in mushrooms. So that was also being added along with elk and other different variations of protein. And then you can have exclusions on a client basis if they hate the taste of lima beans or they're allergic to peanuts. Whatever the case might be, they can eliminate those menus coming into their plan. And then when you go into the today's menu as a consumer, it will build out the plan based on your preferences that you've selected here. It'll find meals that match your carbs, your protein, your fat. And I just changed this over to the version 1, so it's obviously not connected yet. But I'll give you a glimpse of that right now with regard to the V2 nutrition. So that would be in the application, and we'll be turning this on again probably as early as next week. I'll turn this on just so you can get a view of the major differences that are there. So now if I go back to the member view and I go back to the nutrition plan and I go to my change meal plan, you can see instead of 7 plans, we now have 15, including vegan and 3 other types of vegetarian, Mediterranean, brain health, and low sodium plans for any of the individuals. After they've selected one of these plans, or you have assigned a plan to a client, which I will show you how to do that in the client management feature coming up very soon here, then it goes to their nutrition page, and you can see all of the different ethnicities of foods that have been added inside of the database. We have a little over 4,900 recipes that are in the database now, all that have been built by registered dietitians or naturopathic dietitians. So based on the type of plan that you're giving somebody, those can be quite different in what is being delivered to the client, but it will match the criteria that you're trying to give to the client. And then again, you can see the protein choices went from about 7 different options to 24 different options of proteins. You also can select per customer or per patient, hot, medium, or mild spicing, as well as allergies that they might have. When they're signing up, they can take a Mediterranean diet, which is not necessarily low carb, and they can check this, which would then make it bringing in Mediterranean related foods in a low carb diet program. So you can see there's a couple of other options here. If you're a dietitian, you do have 2 more carb, protein, and fat ratios that you can add. We just don't put them on the consumer side because they really wouldn't understand what they're getting. People always ask the question, what does the 20, 40, 40 CPF mean? That's obviously something that in the industry you would understand that's carbs, proteins, and fats, but the general consumer doesn't necessarily know that. So once you've done all of that and saved that, well, that will then deliver out a nutrition program for you. And again, I don't have this turned on yet, so it's not bringing in that meal plan. We do have extensive workout programs that are available, and you can change the workout plan after they have gone through the PAR-Q, or you've done that with them, that you're currently working with them. There's 5 different options: fat loss and tone, general fitness, weight gain or weight loss, performance training, and that can be on the job performance for firemen or police officer, or it could be for somebody who's trying to train to be a better soccer player or football player. And then we also have a upgradable capability where it can actually measure your workout from the camera on your phone. and it will actually track your joints and instruct you that you need to put your feet shoulder width apart on a body weight squat or whatever other exercise might be there. But it also tracks it down to the consumer being able to see in their health data history all of the information that they're tracking or you're wanting them to track. So their height, their weight, and all of those things are all going to come in here based on the individual measurements of the person. And that goes all the way down to a full blood panel and what date that they performed the blood panel. We utilize green, yellow, and red a lot in the platform, green being perfectly in range. And you can see here, this is just a fictitious setup here. But anything that's yellow is close to or slightly out of range. And anything that's red, they need to pay attention to it. And this information can be done, is right now it's a manual entry of all the data from the blood test on whatever is being tested. We're working with LabCorp right now in getting that set up where that will be an automated process where they can go to any LabCorp facility, get their blood drawn, and it will automatically come into the platform with all of their data already intact. And then all of this data is all recorded, all these different measurement data is for each individual person that is a client of yours. Now I'm going to flip over into what's probably more interesting to your group, where I'm labeling it and putting in the top drop down as experts. More specifically, I'm going into the client manager. In the client manager, you have the ability. I'm going to have to go to a different community to show you a little bit more data. So you can see that the colors and everything changed. That allows the same capability for you to do that. So inside of here, these are all of my clients that I have in this community. I can create as many different statuses options that I want. These are just examples of some of those status options. So if you lose a client for whatever reason, you can put them as discontinued, you can have them as enrolled, you can have them as prospect, you can have them as an injured client. Any kind of status that you want to put in for a client can be created by you underneath the modules and underneath the member status. So you can see in here, you can decide what color you want to make the buttons, what the text you want to be in the options are, and then that will appear in your client manager, however that client is currently enrolled. So inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and go into a client and get a little bit more specific. And if you do have a numerous clinicians that work with you, you can also assign them to a specific doctor. So you can see in this assign to column, there's multiple different doctor names that are in here. So if you are working with 2 or 3 or 4 different clinicians in your group, if you're managing them, this is a very handy tool because you can keep track of everything that's happening with that client. You can go into those different clients and see data and what's happening with regard to any tests or studies or anything else that's being done. So I'm going to, as an example, go into Donna Garcia. And so Donna Garcia is a client of this particular clinician. And so inside of here, you can see that they have recorded that this person has issues with hypertension and issues with diabetes. So our platform does track the ICD-10 codes or the CPT codes for billing, and it will generate a report at the end of the month for you to know what you need to send to either Medicare or the insurance for collecting those fees. And then you can see on here, there's quite a bit of different options that are available for you to work with the client. RPM, short for remote patient monitoring, chronic care management is CCM, and you can manage all of that. So if you do have Medicare patients that you're doing annual wellness visits, you can actually do all of that on our platform. Speaking of the annual wellness visits, and I'll get into a little bit more detail on this, we have the ability for you to create patient intake forms. And we do have one already built for annual wellness visits for anyone that's in the Medicare space. And any questions that you put into the forms that can be created on our platform, can then be added to your profile where you have a patient intake form for anyone that wants to become a patient of yours. And you can ask any questions that are pertinent to your practice: the birth date, their first name, their last name, their address, their phone number, their email, any type of chronic diseases that they might be managing. All of that can be built into the questionnaire. When the questionnaire or the form gets answered, it brings all of the answers to you. You can review it and check it. If all of the answers are valid answers, you can click one button, and that button will create this entire account for that client. It'll also give them a trial membership for 30 days on the online platform. And then after that, they would need to put a credit card in to purchase any plan that made sense for them. Or many of our customers, because this is a wholesale model, offer it for free to clients that are already paying clients, because it is a small fee to get somebody into that plan. And you can do that by giving them an access code, which allows them to have the plan on the site and not have to put in a credit card. If you haven't already realized this, this application is very good to have child communities. So underneath a community, if you have one that's unique to you, you can build child communities. An example of child communities are a corporate wellness company that you have a relationship with, where you can put in their 237 employees, and you can make money from every one of those employees each month by billing the corporation over and above our wholesale fee, whatever fee you feel is appropriate. And other community options are health clubs, apartment complexes that have very nice fitness centers. All can be branded uniquely to their company or their apartment or whatever it might be, and be child communities underneath your control and care. And anyone that does have a question, I'm more than happy to just be interrupted and say, what about this or what about that? This is a meeting just with your group. So I'm sure somebody else is probably thinking about the same question. So inside of here, if I'm going into the chronic care management as an example, I can record any kind of appointments that have already been scheduled. I can see the notes on those appointments with that particular client. And you can see here that there's two different doctors that are working with this same client, Donna Garcia. So it's client centric. The information is always going to be unique to the client. The client decides who they want to share the information with through the HIPAA compliance. And the only people who see the client's information is somebody that the client has authorized through that HIPAA release, which is a very easy process to go through and send a HIPAA release to the client. All right, so along with this chronic care management, just to give you a little bit of a feel, in order to track the CPT codes, one of the more common ones is a 20-minute video teleconferencing call. So you can see right now I have 0 minutes in the video calls and 0 minutes that I have been tracking manually. So you can start a manual task where it'll start a recording. It'll record the minutes that you're speaking with the client right now and what you're speaking about. And that does go into your tracking for this particular event, or you can start a video call. So in here, when I start this video call, I can invite Donna Garcia via email or name. I also can have it pre-scheduled, where she has an appointment already scheduled with me at 10 o'clock. She goes into a waiting room, and then when I come in, I can launch that meeting. In order for the camera to show up, I need
Hello.
to somebody's speaking there. Is there not a question, I guess? So inside of here, if I turn off my camera on the Zoom, it will allow me to pick up the camera here. So this would be the clinician or the doctor or the personal trainer or acupuncturist, whatever the person is. And then when Donna Garcia joins, the practitioner will come down to the bottom corner. Donna Garcia will take the top space. Important to note that Donna Garcia cannot see the right-hand side of this screen. So this is where you can put in any kind of notes that you want to take during that process. You can read her intake form. You can look at the medical history for Donna Garcia. All of that information can be done and tracked and changed by you on the fly while you're talking to them. So if I wanted to come in here and say that she's now just telling me that has arthritis and her heart issues or her gout issue is no longer an issue, I can click done. You can see arthritis is now here and gout is gone. But this goes into eating disorder, sleep disorder, mental health, family history, social history. All of these things can be recorded on each client, along with allergies, medications, and also SOAP notes. So you can put in your objective, subjective assessment and plan uh, for that particular client and even give them a diagnosis and patient instructions as well. So all of this telehealth feature is available in the platform, and all of that can be done through your client manager. So when I end that, I'm going to just continue down the road here. I can also see my activity. So an action plan, which I haven't gone into in depth yet, but an action plan gives people information over a timeline. This particular client is in a pre-diabetes and diabetes action plan. So each day they get an article, possibly a video lesson from the doctor on understanding diabetes and how
Hey,
to,
Don, real quick.
yes.
Another question from Dr. Teresa Volner. Does it transcribe from the audio in the meeting for the soap notes?
There's a couple of different options out there in doing that, Scriber and a couple of others that we're doing research in, and our result is that we think that we're just going to do it ourselves. We have that capability. We work with quite a bit of artificial intelligence and voice capturing. So we're probably going to be building that right now. It is a manual entry, but it will be very shortly doing it with the voice as well. Very similar. I don't know if you've ever looked at the different options, but a Scriber is the one that we found to be the most appropriate and the best, but it's also expensive. And so if we can build it where you don't have an additional expense, it's obviously better for everybody. So that's what our goal is to do that. And again, keep asking questions if they come up. And Sam, if you can watch anyone that raises their hand or anything, I'm obviously not looking at that right now, but just interrupt me as we go. All right, so
Yes, sir.
activity. I talked about the action plan, in this case for diabetes. What happens is that this person gets in their today's activity column, and I'll flip back to that, but you can see how these are marked as green or red. This is just a demo account. So green represents that they completed everything in their daily activities that you wanted them to create and finish so they understood diabetes. Same thing with incomplete. It means they didn't complete all of their information. So if I go back to the member view here and I see my action plan, you can see that this action plan was literally just created this morning. But inside of here, they have not completed what's in their today's activities. This is the today's activities client column. So in here, I have a journaling feature where I can say that my mood today is neutral. My sleep wasn't so great. My energy level is not so great. My stress level is very high, and my soreness level is okay. And so they can put in notes that then come to you as their clinician, but also kept track of in their individual accounts. So journaling is one of the features. And then going back to the today's column, they have a fitness program in here, which is a level 2 fitness program. They have a zone nutrition program, which is a 40-30-30 carb, protein, and fat ratio. And they have a video lesson um, on balanced nutrition. Normally, there's a photo here, and the photo is an inspiration photo. I just haven't filled it out with this particular client, but I'll just show you how that works really quickly. So if I have an inspiration as a client, I can come in here and I can say that my inspiration for doing the work could be my spouse, could be my child, could be my grandchildren, anything and everything that possibly would apply. I can put in a picture here and then bring in, the that picture into my profile and say, this is why I'm doing the work, and that it's for my family or for whatever else it might be. And then when I put that information in, then that will show up on the center column of my profile. So now when I come back into my next day, you can see my inspiration is my family. So that helps people stay on track. And then once all of this information is completed, this red dash will turn to green. So I'm going to click on the red dash because I forgot to do it yesterday. I didn't complete everything. I can do that up to 3 days backward or forward. So if I want to read an article ahead of time, I can do that. But in here, you can see I have not completed my balanced nutrition or logged any of my meals. So just for the demonstration purposes, I'm just going to say that I'm logging all of my meals. And the meals go all the way down to what saucepan to cook them in, what temperature to set the oven, what ingredients you need to buy at the grocery store. And then this is an example of a video lesson. So I didn't complete this yet, which is my balanced nutrition program. After I watched this video, I all of our system has quizzes, and you can put in your own quizzes to any articles or video lessons that you might have. So if you're talking to somebody about mental health, should be a video of you. You want to personalize this site as much as you can to be unique to you, because people are buying you. They're not buying the site, they're buying your expertise. So in this right nutrition for the body, this is obviously a pretty easy one to answer. And when I answer it, will then tell me I got 100% on the quiz. Well, there could be 3 or 5 or 12 questions there, depending on how complicated you want to make it. But the concept there is we want to know that this person understood the topic that you're teaching them, and they didn't just click the 7-minute video and go feed their dog. And then there is the ability to put support PDF files along with this. So if there's any type of support files that you want to add, you can add it. In this case, you can see there's 9 different lessons. In the action plan, you can say that I want them to start this lesson on day 3, and I want them to get a new lesson every 3rd day or every 6th day, depending on how complicated the lessons are. They have then to complete each one, they would get a new lesson after they've completed this. You can make it that it's required for them to do in the sequence, or you can make it not required where they can skip around and do anything that they would like to do so they can actually get ahead of schedule in the plan. I hope all that's making sense, but you can see now that that dash mark has turned to green because I have completed everything that I was supposed to complete in my day. And all of your clients will be able to, you will be able to see all of what's happening with your clients in your client manager. The nice part about it is you don't even have to call them to know that they've completed it. You simply go into their activities and you see that they've completed or didn't complete the activities. This one's not kept up, but normally it would show hours of sleep and number of steps. It's just a sample one, but you can see that the calories, the carbs, the proteins, and the fats have been recorded. So you can see the calories in versus the calories out, as well as any other information that's inside here. Medical history, we've kind of already touched on that, where you can see any of the medical history that's being recorded for this particular individual. Appointments shows the appointments with you or any other doctor that you can go in and view the details and see, what the chief complaint was. Did they have a sore throat? Were they having sleep issues? All of those things can be recorded inside of the application so that you're making sure that you're keeping up with all of the information. Got lost there for a second. Um, Assigning. This is a feature that a lot of the clinicians really like because you're trusting that the individual patient understands what they need to do. It's much better because if you're instructing them that based on your DNA, based on your blood work, based on your goal, you can assign them a program, an action plan. So you can see that this was assigned by the clinician to Donna Garcia, that because they just came in and found out that they're a type 2 diabetic.
Oh, Don, we got another question. This was for Lori Graham.
Yep.
Does activity slash sleep track from wearable devices?
Yes. Yeah. So we track with Fitbit, Garmin, and Apple Watch currently. We're in the process of connecting in Aura Ring. And we also have this group out of Washington State that has a ring that needs to be worn for 3 evenings, that you can actually get the ring. The client pays for it, and it's not trying to get somebody to get a CPAP device, or get on medications. It literally goes into blood work and other types of information about the client and gives them ideas of how to change that. It could be simply something like get a pillow and sleep on your side versus sleep on your back, but it's not trying to prescribe medication or the CPAP devices. But we do have, in the process of talking with that particular client and integrating them in, that you can get one or two or four of those rings because you job them out to your client. They're obviously much more detailed than your Oura Ring that tracks sleep and others that track sleep, because it tracks multiple times per second versus your Oura Ring tracks, I think it's every 6 minutes. So it's a much more thorough evaluation of your sleep and how that sleep is working. And again, that's another tool that is being integrated. You'll notice that this gets upgraded quite regularly. There's pretty much something new. We've got $8.2 million built into the application so far. But we pretty much update something every other week, and those get pushed to live, and there's no additional cost for any upgrades that we make, unless it's a third-party application that they charge a fee, and we negotiate so that their fees are very low. They're the lowest possible. One example of that is we're partnered up with a group called Longevity Lab, and they do DNA testing. And so they'll actually send a kit to your patient. They'll do the cheek swab of the DNA test. You send it into the lab, and then from there, it'll give the complete analysis of that person's DNA, along with recommending peptides or other things that would help that individual. Also goes into recommending carb, protein, and fat ratios of that person, how they should be eating. So there's quite a bit of detail that's already here, but a lot of things that are coming, that would probably be of great interest to the people that are on this call. And so after the sign, you can, to further on that, you can do video lessons, which I showed you briefly in that today's activities. I encourage you guys to create your own action plans. And the action plan should be videos of you talking about a subject. The nice part about that is you have to do that one time. And then once it's put into the system, somebody who comes into your office discovers they're a type 2 diabetic, has no idea what to do next. You can teach them over a 30-day period how to order at a restaurant a diabetic friendly meal, what to look for on labels for diabetic friendly foods, how people hide sugars, using the words like saccharum and high fructose corn syrup and other things like that in the labels that you might not recognize because it doesn't say sugar. So all of those things are things that you can teach people over a timeline of 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, 180 days, whatever the length that you would need. And then you can add in articles like these articles that are showing here. So these are articles that I have pushed to Donna Garcia because in talking to her in the appointment, I also identified that she recently had an ACL surgery, so I can actually send her a workout program for ACL rehab, along with an article about how she might work with that. And if it's not already obvious, you can create your own articles in our system. You can create your own action plans. You can create your own videos to explain to people any topic that you want to explain. Anything that you add, if you have your own unique community, remains 100% unique to you. We do not share your data with any of our other clients. In order to make it completely unique to you, you would have to have your own community. It's not very expensive to do that. It's a one-time fee. But once you have your own community, you can brand it with your logo, your colors, and all the information that you want to put in, so that it completely looks like you as opposed to the decent med branding that you guys have probably all seen so far. Now, EMR, we're working with a company called Dre or Dr. AI, that is actually doing artificial intelligence information where you can put in symptoms and it will bring back what you should consider looking at or thinking about that might be an issue with your patient. And that they also have the capability of pulling the electronic medical records based on that the clients technically own the medical data. But Epic and Cerner and Athena don't really give you a lot of opportunity to retrieve your own data. So this Dre or Dr. AI has developed a process that if the client requests the data coming out of Epic or Cerner, then it would come into the EMR data of that particular client in your platform. And so all of the data would be in one place for your client, and no matter what type of program. And I think that they have about 19 that they currently are pulling data from. Epic, Cerner, and Athena are the top three in the industry, that you guys are probably already using, and those are part of that platform. So that's another one that you can see. If you click on this, it'll say coming soon advanced MD, which is another one that we were connecting to. So that's not 100% done. The only thing in this client management feature that isn't completely connected. So that'll be coming soon. Health history, we've talked about this with regard to the front side of it, where you can see blood panel and all the data. This particular client has more data in than the sample that I showed you. They only have one blood work score from 2323, but it does show in there the dates that they might have accomplished that. But this has a lot more data in it that you'll be interested to see just a couple of these. So under my nutritional data, I can see the carbs, the proteins, and the fats that this person is consuming. So you can see they're on a low carb diet, 20% or less in carbs, or you can see that it's ranging right around 20% in carbohydrates, and then protein and fat. So it shows the caloric amount either by percentage or grams for the fat, carbs, and proteins. And so I can look at my last 7 days with my client. You can see they've only logged one meal so far today. But if I wanted to come in and see, well, what's their last month look like? I can see how they've been doing over time and how many calories they've been consuming, the carbs, the proteins, the fats, and everything else that they've been monitoring. And if I wanted to go out to further months, I can do that also. So other things that would be important to track is I can come in here and I can look at weight, and I'll actually show you a better calculation of this, but I can look at the last 30 days of their weight. And we have a scale that's called Withings. And Withings does a scale, a blood pressure cuff, and a sleep mat. And so those are products that individual client can buy and assign exactly to the client. And so I have one in my office that I step on and it weighs me every day. And I can step on it more than one time in a day and it'll give me my different measurements throughout the day. This is just one example of it. Doesn't have a lot of activity in it, but it also shows you variance on how they're doing with their weight loss or weight gain or whatever it might be. But a lot of this data is nice to be able to have and to look at. So I can come in here and look at the resting heart rate of this individual, and how they're doing, if it's improving.
Don,
Yes.
another question. This one's
Yeah.
from Angela Romero.
Okay.
What scale? What scale is it they order?
Yeah. So I'll show you. So the scale that I have, let me turn my camera back on here. The scale that I have is called Withings. And this particular scale, they do have one that has handles with a cable that you can use that will measure body fat, lean muscle mass versus body fat. It measures hydration, it measures weight. So you can get the more advanced scale. That's just the one that I have. And all I have to do is step on it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to data entry. I don't have to put my weight in anywhere. It just automatically comes into my profile. And it makes it very, very handy for the client to be able to track it. But and then this example here of heart rate data, this is just coming in from my Garmin watch that I wear. This is not mine, but this is another client's heart rate, and it is a fictitious client. I'm not violating HIPAA. But if you go into mine, you can see mine over time. You can see my weight over time and all of my measurements. Let me go ahead and show you that real quick. So I'm logging in a different site. You can see the branding was very different. Again, you can make it completely unique to you. This is Soyoto's Health, another customer. Again, making your brand unique to you. And then if I go to the member view here, this is actually my data. So now you can see the steps and the sleep and the calories in, calories out. And all of this goes into everything from my weight to my resting heart rate. Same thing applies. I can see the last 7 days or the last 7 records, or I can look at this over a timeline. So you can see that my weight is just gradually going down because I'm training for a cycling event that I participate in. So unfortunately, I'm losing a lot of weight with the cycling also. But that's a good thing that you want to track with your clients. And then also under my health data history, you can see there's a lot more data coming in here with regard to blood panel. Here you can see they have 3 different dates of time, and then you can go into things like resting heart rate, and you can look at the resting heart rate over a 30-day period. And so you can see that that it varies, and you can
Oh,
also
Don, one other question. This is from Dr. Volner. Can CGM be linked to?
explain CGM. What are you referring to
Dr.
there?
Volner, can you hop
Continuous
on up there and
glucose
ask?
monitor.
Yes, actually, I can't believe I took a blank on that. I'm actually a type 2 diabetic myself, so I understand that. So Dexcom, we've done all of our work on Dexcom. They haven't given us approval yet. So as soon as we get approval from them, yes, that will be available feature in the system. And get some claps on that. Okay, I like claps. But yes, so it is a piece that would be entered. And then again, here's the with things that does the blood pressure cuff, the weight scale, and the sleep mat. And then we're also waiting for approval from Google, but that should come in shortly. But this is Fitbit, Garmin, and Apple Watch are already completed. Now, there are a lot of companies out there that do connectivity. Validic is one, Rook is another, but they also charge like 50 cents per customer to do that. And we wanted to keep our costs low, so we've been connecting it ourselves. I have a team of 6 programmers that will work full time on this application, which is why you see a lot of updates coming in every other week. And now I need to find out where I was. Okay, yeah. So this was the other person's. Try and find where I was. I'm opening way too many windows here. Anyway, so I think you guys have probably a pretty good understanding of what's available in here. Let me go back into Donna Garcia. To finish this out, device connectivity, again, it's whatever devices they have connected. This person has Fitbit, Garmin, and Withings. Weight report just shows you if you're looking for a report, and you can see blood glucose is one of the reports that will be generated. And then journaling, I can see how my client is journaling. I don't have any in this new account that I just created this morning, so you could see it from a blank. But this would track journaling like your mood. And so if they've tracked it, you can actually come in here and turn on, well, I want to see the journaling of their sleep or their stress level or their soreness level. all of those can be tracked where you can see a graph over time of how their soreness was based on one of these 5 selections that they might have made. We are also connecting. We have 2 pharmacies that we've already connected to. We are in the process of connecting 2 others. These have been initially, they're concentrating on your peptides, the GLP-1s, trizipatides. We also have other THT or TRT and HRT testosterone products are the first ones that we're bringing in, but we are connecting to your overall pharmacies as well. That'll be coming in the next few weeks, where you can connect with your individual group, where you can actually go in and purchase products directly from that. We do have to validate your NPI number, which is a recorded video call with you to validate your NPI number before you can actually order product, for the obvious reason. You have to be registered and certified to do that in your particular state. And then getting back to the member view page, one of the things that you may or may not be aware of is there's a find an expert under resources. That brings in all of the experts that'll be part of your group. So all of them will be grouped together underneath the Decent Med, and that application will be available where you can get business. As I mentioned earlier, we have other groups that will allow your exposure to come in as well. And then a clinician that belongs to one group. So you can belong to Decent Med, but if you build your own separate community and you want to work with one of the other doctors as a additional resource in your group, you can invite them into your group where their profile might be only on the Decent Med, but they also want to be in your profile. So when somebody goes into resources, you and 1 or 2 or 3 other people that you enjoy working with can also gain and benefit from businesses that you may not perform. So if you're, like working with a massage therapist or working with another group, you can bring in those people however it makes sense for your business. So just to give you a little bit more view here of what that's going to look like. Yeah, let's see here, expert. That's not what I'm looking for. So this is give you a little bit more example on the other, on your network on how you can find people. And so inside of here, if you have a unique brand, but you're part of the Decent Med group, your logo will show up in this circle, which is one of the logos that we've requested from you. The color of your brand would also show up. And then somebody would be able to click from the Decent Med overall of all the people that are part of that network to actually finding you, scheduling an appointment with you, and going through a telemedicine call with you. And so if you do have a unique brand, you can build that in to your own profile. Making sense? Any questions that anybody has? I'll just be quiet for a minute. I know I've talked a lot here, but does anybody have any questions about anything that I've been showing? Nobody?
I actually have a question.
Go ahead.
It's more of I use a client management software called Practice Better, but I also use Go High Level where I've moved a lot of my clients over to.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to keep all of my clients in one place, and I
Yes.
just moved them from Practice Better to Go High Level. And so, but this obviously has more Practice Better like features, and even
Right.
more so than that one actually. So now I'm confused a little bit. So it's not really a question, it's just kind of like how to, is this an app they download on their phone, or is it desktop or a website they log
It,
into?
it's both. We do have an app version, and I just now started working with Sam. We wanted to have this meeting to allow you guys to
Yeah,
get.
Don, can I jump in real quick to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Angela, to that point, on our platform, and they're working on this right now, but this is how new patients will be. And Don, can you pull up that page, the Find a Provider page?
Sure.
That Find a Provider page will be live. That will be available on our website, on our Find a Practitioner website on our page. That will
Mhm.
link to there. So for new people that find you guys from Decent Med,
Mm-hmm.
they'll work with you in that system. As far as integrating your old patients, and I would probably assume the best answer to that would be to start slowly and not have to completely transition everyone over all at once. But Don, if you want to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously, we're trying to eliminate work. And so, what we've been able to do in the platform, let me go into different community here so you can see this a little bit more, is inside of our modules. We've been able to build out the capability, and I need to log in. It's a different permission level. So let me do that really quickly here. And to answer your overall question, we hear that frustration that you just voiced a lot. And so our whole concept here was we want to create one place and we want to bridge the gap between medical and wellness and connect the patients more seamlessly to the clinicians. And there's nobody out there that's doing that effectively yet. And we want to be the first person that says, okay, we're trying to make people healthier at the same time as help them with their medical.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just trying to bridge that gap is what our entire goal has been in building out the application that you're looking at today. So our goal is, and we just have a few little tiny holes, which is pulling the data from their electronic medical record, but it really is going to be capable of doing everything that you need to do with the exception of however you're handling your billing. It'll give you the reports for the billing, but you'll still have to do the billing through some form of company. And I do have a number of partners that do billing, both for Medicare and for direct pay well, direct pay obviously you wouldn't need it, but for insurance as well. So all of that capability is going to be built in. One of the easiest ways to transition your clients, if you're currently any new clients that you're working with, is underneath our admin side of this, under modules, you have intake forms.
Mm-hmm.
Intake forms are forms that you build and you can put all the questions that are important for you to have in that particular client's file. So at least we can limit what you're going to have to transition over. So when somebody fills out the data on that, you can see they come in as a completed, filled out information. So if I look at this annual wellness visit, I have two people that have signed into this. These are fictitious names that I was doing just testing it. But when I do that and open up any of each of the people that put in the information data, you can see
Mm-hmm.
I can put any kind of questions that I want in here. So I can capture all the basic information, what insurance they're using. This is annual wellness visit, so you can see that there's a lot of questions here that are more pertaining to the annual wellness visit questionnaire. But the nice part about this is when I'm done, with this form is done, all you have to do is click this button. This is a valid person. It's not somebody that put in Mickey Mouse
Mm-hmm.
that they're 120 years old. So by clicking this add to client manager, everything that they've put in transitions over into their client file.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm building out the platform and putting in your questions, I literally will build the form. So this is one, obviously you can see GLP one questions. And so when I click on that, it'll have your brand, your logo, it'll have whatever you want to call this form, whatever the name of it is. And then when you transition to where you want to save it, first of all, you would have your top level community. You might have children communities underneath you that you might want to save it to or not. But once you save it to your communities, then it brings in the ability for you to add a section where you can customize the section name. You can put in what you want to do. So this is first name. So first name is going to import into our questionnaire. It's a short answer because you want them to be able to type. But notice that you can do everything from getting their signature approval to check boxes to paragraphs of text to phone number to whatever it might be. Well, short answer then ties into in our database first name. So these are different options that you can use for short answer. And you just make sure that whatever that question is going to tie to the one that you want to tie. In this case, I'm asking the question, what is your first name? So the short answer is going to tie into our database as first name. And then when I save that, and then they answer the question, it automatically creates that account. So if somebody's transferring over data, they can obviously do that in this similar fashion. And if you do have a spreadsheet, I do have a staff that does a lot of data entry and does it very economically.
Mm.
So if you have a spreadsheet, obviously we have to be HIPAA compliant. So that information, needs to be unidentified. You would just need to put all of that in as clients, and then you'd have to match it up with the clients since you have the HIPAA release with them.
Okay. I do look forward to doing all of this. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Don, to that point, Dr. Volner has another question in the same vein. She
Yeah, go
said
ahead.
uploading current client data at once. So with Dr. Volner, she uses a system called Care Patreon, and we essentially was a process. If you want to jump in, Dr. V, you know that we offboarded her from a current system at the beginning of this year, onboarded her on the Care Patreon, and now she uses that full time and has already taught her staff. So if she were to essentially switch to this full time, would that process be difficult for her from Care Patreon? And what would you recommend as far as the switch from taking her current clients on Care Patreon and putting them on this system?
I guess I'd have to ask a couple of questions. So in the Care Patreon, do you have the ability to generate an Excel spreadsheet from that?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. So I would think that we have to figure out a way to do it securely. And I know that there's abilities to put files into secure data transfers. So what we would have to do is similar to what I just showed you with this form, is we'd have to match up fields. And so from the Care Patreon, if you can get me an example of that, that could be something where we could just build a transfer option where you could literally create the spreadsheet that you have and then take that spreadsheet and literally upload all of the data from all of your clients into our platform. That would obviously take a lot more work because I am not familiar with that particular group or platform. But certainly
Are
that
you
would make
familiar
your
with
job easy.
ChiroTouch?
Um, I haven't really worked with the different care platforms that are out there. If you guys want to generate a list of the 2 or 3 or 5 that you guys might be using, and then just validate that they do have the ability for you to download a spreadsheet that has, you're going to have columns, and each of
There's
those columns.
there's limited information that can be downloaded too. So even coming out of ChiroTouch, which is a very heavy program, and I still bill the insurance through it because Care Patron didn't have a good way to bill insurance. It was a manual process,
Mhm.
whereas I can just punch buttons over here and it goes. Um, so it sounds like I would end up doing the same thing with your system.
Well,
Yeah,
this system, I think, Don, we talked about this earlier, that it makes billing insurance a lot more efficient.
yeah, you get a report of what you need to bill, what ICD-10 codes or CPT codes have been achieved. So then you can bill it. So some of the companies like Advanced MD I'm familiar with, is you can just sign up with Advanced MD to do billing only. You don't have to do their electronic medical record and all the other pieces. You can just utilize various companies out there for billing. And again, I do have partners that do that, and can connect you with those partners as well. But
Mhm.
the goal again is nobody out there like Advanced MD, or I imagine that these other companies that you guys are mentioning, they don't have what we have built, and they're not likely to be building it because this was years and years of building and work and putting in 4,900 recipes and 104 workout programs and all kinds of educational articles. They're just not going to do it. So until we take all of their business anyway. But um, I, I I would guess that there would be some cases where somebody like this Patreon group might be interested in seeing what we're doing and doing a partnership with us, that we can be the member facing part of their application. So if that made sense for any of the people that are on the phone to connect us with those groups, there might be a partnership that we can work where the billing then gets done automatically from our platform to Patreon, or whatever else might be the case, because I'm pretty confident that people aren't going to want to try and build what we have spent millions of dollars building, because it's a lot. They're
Cool.
concentrating on their specific piece of business.
And Don, Dr. Volner's a little different than some of our other providers because she's a chiropractor. So
Hmm.
as you possibly know, chiropractors need a lot more tools than a coach or, a solopreneur might need in this industry. Um, and I know this platform wasn't originally designed for nutritionists and health coaches, but now we are optimizing it for the entire industry. And Angela asked about, does the platform integrate with FullScript? I know some of the other people on here, some of our other providers do use FullScript.
Yeah.
Dr. V as well uses FullScript. So do you know if we integrate with FullScript?
We've talked with them. We haven't gotten very far on that, but that's probably a pretty likely thing that we're going to be adding in along with the different pharmacies that we're working with. Um, we haven't gotten very far on that, but we have had the conversations with them. So I would add that to the most likely, um, very probably coming soon. I can't imagine that we're not going to work with them. They seem to have a very good reach, and a good system. So it's very likely to be another thing that will connect.
And I asked the accounting question.
Hmm.
Reports at the end of day, end of month.
Right. So it's going to track all of the CPT codes that are triggered. Inside of the application, you're going to be able to put under your profiles what billing codes that you want to keep track of. So inside of your community, you would keep track. And I think it was you the other day that we just checked all of them, to make them available. Uh, and so all of these get tracked and what the billing option is for all of those. And then if they get triggered, like 20-minute conference call in the system, it'll automatically say that this client has triggered this CPT code, and it'll show up in that report. Does that make sense?
I'm talking about cash paid because we make clients pay the day that they are taken care of.
Okay, so you have the ability to, um, I haven't actually asked for somebody, have anyone asked for it to be in-person visit. We have the telemedicine feature where you can put in what the price is for the visit, and it bills it from cash pay right in the system where they pay with a credit card as they're scheduling. They can schedule that same thing for an in-person visit and pay for the in-person visit the same. So you would just have to put into your expert file what you want to charge for any individual visits, that might be part of what you do as a profession. So where that would come into play is under your expert profile, under your pricing. So you have these specialties, and you can have, 27 more if you're doing other different features. And then if you have a 30-minute session available, first of all, they can schedule for 30 minutes, or they could schedule for 90 if you had both. And so all of these options are what you're putting in for billing, and they would actually pay with a credit card, direct pay. And you can see that once you do that, you do have the option to also put in the availability, where you can do, when you're available to take those calls or in person.
Okay, end of day report is how much money was collected for the day, how much money was collected for the week. Are we able to have a report for each day?
You do have quite a bit of report capability, and quite bluntly, if there's reports that we don't have that you need, we would build them because we're collecting all of the data. If it's a specific report that you need, I'd be happy to work with you and complete that report to what is needed. We've started out very focused in the health and fitness industry. I work with 4 different professional strength coaches from the NFL, NBA, and numerous groups, Major League Baseball, basketball, and football. And so that's where our start was of our company. And then we also worked with a lot of different health clubs, Gold's Gym, Powerhouse, World Gym, and numerous independent gyms. So that was where our first start to this was. In the last 2 years, we've been building out the medical side of it and getting the HIPAA compliance and all of those types of things built into this. So what I'm telling you is we're still learning. And so if there is something that you guys don't see in here, don't think, oh, it doesn't have that, so I can't use it. Get me to know about what is missing and what you need. And almost 100%, we would build it. But as you can see, we do have a lot that's already done. We have a couple of tiny pieces that we're trying to get completed, and connections like, to the pharmacies, and if we can do any type of APIs where we're actually pulling in data from any of these groups that you guys have mentioned. Those are things that we'd love to explore.
Yeah, and to that point, anybody that has any of those questions, text them to me directly if you think of anything, and I'll forward them to Don. And another question was from Charlotte, and I kind of have this question too. So on the platform, it works with Stripe.
Yes.
And what if some of our providers or coaches that we have now or that we add don't have Stripe or don't utilize Stripe?
Yeah,
So,
Stripe takes less than 10 minutes to set up. So they would need to set up a Stripe account. And so the reason we do that
okay.
is it splits at the transaction. So if you're charging $90 for a client,
Mhm.
we need to validate that they have a membership. And then at the transaction, we'll take our fees, and then you're going to get whatever is the difference. And so our customers also can create multiple communities. Again, this would be another scenario where you would need your own community. But this is a group called Pathways that we work with another client. And Pathways has 3 different communities. So inside
Mhm.
of Pathways, they have a base camp community, an elevation community, and a summit community. You can see that they all have different pricing. So inside of your community, you could have a community that maybe specializes in diabetes or specializes in performance training. And you can charge more, where you could actually include that, and this includes one personal training session or one chiropractic session a month or whatever it might be. And you can charge different amounts for each of these communities. Your members can elevate up or down in their profile anytime that they want to. So I have a couple of clients that are specializing in diabetes. I have others that are specializing with physical therapy, where they're delivering workout programs where somebody has an ACL surgery or an injury, and they have a plan that is specific on flexibility and regaining the flexibility after the surgery. And so they have post surgery or post-injury rehab programs that they can build into the platform. And I know that we're probably going longer than some of you expected, but I think it would be a bad thing if I didn't at least show this to anyone that might be a chiropractor or a physical therapist on the call. But in the workout plans, we have a third-party organization, and they charge 75 cents to add this feature set to it. And it works with your camera from your phone or your tablet or your desktop. And so you can build programs like herniated disc recovery or lower back strengthening or any of the other programs that you want. And you can build these any way that you want to build them. So if I click on this lower back strengthening, and I need to turn off my phone, my video again. So inside of here, in order to get AI tracking, I needed to turn off my video, but these are the exercises or stretches that you have put into this program for the client and how many repetitions that you wanted them to perform. And then when I actually start this program, it'll show you what muscles are being worked for this particular exercise program. And then when I start the program, it's going to identify and recognize, am I using a desktop computer or am I using my phone that's leaning up against the wall or up in a chair against a coffee cup? And so what it does is it builds this program, whichever one I've selected or whichever one you have built. And then from
Before the
there,
workout starts, place your phone on the floor against a wall.
and then from there, it actually will show me how to do that. And again, it's recognizing I'm on a desktop version.
Get into the silhouette.
And then what it does is
So Don, real quick, because I have two questions from them.
Step
Yep.
back so I can see your legs.
Yep, go ahead.
Charlotte asked, so
Step back so I can
fees,
see your legs.
Hold
so
on one
we
second.
have fees, and then they also have Stripe fees. Is that correct? So there's two types of fees. And then Dr. Vollner states, the current system I'm using has a challenging end of day transaction and payment reports that we put into QuickBooks to keep accounting with the bank matched up. I'd love if this system, which Dr. Vollner, this system does have financing. Dr. Don and I went over that in the first video we did.
Yep.
And she said, I'd love to know if the system has end of day, month, year reports. I'm pretty sure it does. And then we then compare it with Stripe in order to see that it all matches on the accounting side. So this system works a lot better than Care Patreon does. But Don, if you want to touch on both Charlotte and Dr. V's question.
Yeah, so first of all, we do have a financial dashboard, and I'll get into that in a second. Let me finish this and then I'll jump over to that. So this workout program
Before the
again
workout
starts.
Get into the silhouette. Step
And
back so I can see your legs.
What it does is it wants me to get into this picture where my head
Step
and my
back so I
feet
can see your legs.
are inside that view. And then as I'm doing my
Step back so I can
workout,
see your legs.
you can see that it tracks with my body joints. And
Step
it
back so I can see your
actually
leg.
will tell somebody that, hey, you need to stand with your feet shoulder distance apart. And it will not only show them what to do, correct them if they're doing it incorrectly, but it also creates a report and generates a report on how accurately they did the workout that you can see without even contacting the client. So you can see a track record that they've done all of their workouts or all of their stretching for the last week or month or whatever it might be that you're wanting to track that data. And then any questions on that before I move on? Okay, and then inside of here, you have the management view. Inside the management view, if you have your own community, which you would have to do the financial dashboard. And so in the financial dashboard, you can see that it not only has what's happening in your community on a real-time basis, not a daily basis, but real time. It'll track on all of what you need. And if you need it so that you want to see what happens on a daily basis, you can do that. But you can see right now I'm tracking every 15-day period. So if you needed it to go to every day, you could actually have it where every day it comes in with the data from that particular day. So that's something that we definitely could do. And then you can see the transaction list. You can see the commissions if you're paying anyone commissions, the manager earnings, the billable users, the saved business cards or credit cards. All of that data is coming into this financial dashboard. This is your community and the top. So if you have a community, it shows you people who signed up on our system, people who signed up with appointments with you directly, shows you what the bank charges would be for any charges that came in if they used a credit card. All that data is unique to your community. But if you have child communities, so if you have a corporate wellness community or an apartment complex that you're working with or a health club you're working with, that only shows you the dollar transactions for the obvious reason. You can't see names of people that are in a different group because of HIPAA. But it does show you that, hey, this company is generating this revenue that's coming to me. So it really allows you to think outside of your four walls in your practice and think about other people that you can give your expertise to, whether it's a corporate wellness environment, or it's a group of women that are trying to lose weight or men that are trying to be better soccer players or whatever it might be. You can create as many communities as you want and keep track of everything that happens in those communities. And so you can literally do everything that you need to do in our platform. And again, I'm looking for more information. So if there's things that you guys find that our other experts have not said, hey, we really need this, please let us know about those. We're growing and we're growing fast. And we have a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish. And I've already mentioned a couple of those in this call. But we really believe that the medical industry is going to be a very strong industry for us because there hasn't been that connection to the patient level. And not only that is if you have your own community with your own brand, and every time somebody logs in, they see your logo and your colors and your information, that's a pretty powerful tool for you in marketing. And then if people join this, if one of your patients says, hey, you should see this workout program on this site, and here's where you go sign up, and they put in a credit card, now you're making recurring revenue from that patient or that person that's not a patient of yours every month. Same thing with corporate wellness. So think outside of the box on this because this is a very big opportunity for you to gain clients. And then if you have a corporation client that has 257 employees, if somebody's looking for a chiropractor and you're one of the people that are on that website as the expert in chiropractic, where do you think they're going to go? To you. So use it as marketing tool as much as a patient to doctor communication. Any other questions? I know we've gone way over our time that we were expecting, but I think you guys have probably learned a lot more than you were expecting as well. Any other questions?
Yeah, so I'm gonna follow up with Charlotte and her asking what are the fees that you pull for yourself, and what would be the fee for doing our own branding?
Well, the fee that we charge is $5.50 per member per month. And then most of our customers charge between $9.95 and $49.95 for this service. You can charge as low as $6.95. I only have one client that does that. The reason that we have a minimum limit is because we've had a supplement company come in and then give it away for free. And that kills the business model for everybody else that want to charge for their expertise. Because when somebody comes in and signs up and it looks the same, they don't realize that, well, this chiropractor or this acupuncture specialist has put in a lot of their information, which makes it more valuable to the customer. So like you saw in that pathways group, you can create multiple communities for you. So in creating the communities, to create a single person, it's as low as $350. So it's a very small fee to get started. Most of you will probably want to go up to a much more expensive model, but a much more capable model, which is our what we call our silver model. And the silver model is $2,500 one-time fee. And then after that, you only pay based on the memberships that are being put into the system. Let me go to that page really quick.
And you had said, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you had said when you were talking that yes, you use Stripe. You guys
Yes.
take a fee after Stripe takes a fee. So my question was, what is the percentage on top of Stripe taking that you take
So
to
they
then in turn get to us?
Yeah, so their fee comes out of our fee. So it's the $5.50 that's our fee, including Stripe.
Again, you had said on each transaction through Stripe, even though we have our information plugged in,
Right,
you take a fee from that.
right.
So what is that fee?
So we take the $5.50 for the membership. That creates a membership for the client for the month. You charge $9.95 or whatever you want to charge, and Stripe fees right now is 2.9%.
Yeah, they're the highest.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. And then so these are the different plan options that are available. So you can get a silver plan, which allows you to create other communities and child communities underneath you that are all connected to you. So when you log in, you have the permission levels to get into the other communities. You can't see the client data for the obvious reason that HIPAA compliance, but you can see all of what's happening. You can send articles, you can build workout programs, you can customize it to your unique abilities. So these people are getting a wealth of information for a very, very small monthly fee, and then you charge whatever you want and keep everything over the fees that we just mentioned. The gold
So
plan,
it's $5.50 per month.
right? And then
And then what's the additional fees per
the only,
transaction?
that's just the Stripe fees of the 2.9%. There is no other fees. You don't have any
Thank
monthly
you.
fees. Yeah, there's no monthly fees. It's just based on
You
how
just said there
much.
was a $5.50 monthly fee. So now there's no fee. So make it make sense.
Oh,
I'm trying to make this make sense.
okay. There's no monthly fee to you. You're not paying $500 a month to be part of this program. You're only paying based on the members. The members are paying either with a credit card or you can sign them up with what we call an access code. The access code allows them to get a program for 1 month, 6 months, a year, however long you want to provide for them. And we would bill you the $5.50 for those people. If they sign up with a credit card, they're putting their credit card in the system for, let's just use the example, $9.95. We're taking our $5.50 from that $9.95, and the other $4 and whatever the change was goes to you directly into your Stripe account that you can put into your bank on it. I think they keep the money for 1 day, and then you can put that into your bank account on a daily or weekly or whatever you want to do that. So you're making money from every transaction that's utilized on our site. Everything over the $5.50 and the Stripe fee is your money. Is that making sense now?
Yeah, but this is per month, the $5 fee
You're
per
not paying
month.
that. The client is. The client is paying that fee, not you.
Okay, so that's every client we bring in, or just the like say the first one and it's done for the month.
No, it's every client pays the $5.50 to get this entire project delivered to them, individualized to them in both an app version and a desktop version
Okay, so the $5.50 is charged on every client that we bring in through this platform.
per month. Yes. And they get a wealth of information for a very inexpensive price, whatever you're charging. They get, from for $9.95, they get all of that information. If you're charging them, like we have a lot of personal trainers that charge, $65 or $95 per session, and they just give it to their clients for free. because it's very inexpensive for an entire month for them to get $5.50 out of the $60 or $65 per session that
Ladies
they're
first.
charging their clients. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was just trying to understand Charlotte's question. So the question was that you providers are not charged; it's the patients that are charged.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm
Does
trying
that
to
make
get
sense,
across.
Charlotte?
Yes, but still, on every transaction or every new client, you charge $9.95 to get them on the platform for the free parts. And then every person you bring in, yeah, you charge 9, but at the end of the day, with 2.9%, 2.9%, that transaction fee is going to be taken out plus the $5. So at the end of the day, bringing any new client to the platform, free or paid, you know what I'm saying? Because they have to pay a fee to be even on this. You'll end up with $3, $3 or $4, and then the other side of it is okay. That's just coming in, and that's for the free content. But a lot of us don't give everything away for free. Yes, we give tips and tricks and different things you can do for free, but a lot of us work one on one with our clients, like chiropractic. You know, she got her hands on people. That's per client. So if
Right.
she's bringing her clients over and she charges them $9 a month to be here, at the end of the day, she's gonna make $3. But then, and there is some free information. Not saying there's not, but then to continue to work with them, is that all 100% their profit then on the one-on-one work?
Yes, of course. Why would I take any fees from the chiropractor or from the doctor? That's not something that we're doing. We're just giving you the opportunity to communicate, to have the client record, to have the client manager where you can keep track of the clients. They can message you back and forth. They can schedule a new appointment with you. All of those capabilities are built in here where on the site they can schedule an appointment with you all from their app or from their phone or the desktop.
I have a question.
Yes.
Not, so if we bring all our clients over, we're not paying for every client to be in the whole thing. Only when they decide to be a part of the membership, $10 membership a month, for instance, do they get charged every month for that membership? Because some of my clients will not do that. They will just come in, pay me my $50 once, and then go get their adjustment, and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single client we're charging that $5.54 per month, or
I haven't had anyone actually ask that yet. That makes sense to me what you're saying. So we would have to create some type of a scenario where it says we want them in our client management, but we don't want them or they don't want the platform. So you can give somebody a 30-day free trial so that they are part of your platform. And then they would have an opportunity to put in their credit card for that next month if they want. Our system will prompt them to say, hey, if you enjoyed this 30-day free trial, in order to continue, you have to pay this fee. That way, there's nothing out of your pocket. You're just basically giving them the opportunity to continue, and there's no charge for you for those free trials.
so if they stay a client of mine and they're not paying the $10 a month membership, can I still use them on this system to do the daily, weekly, monthly adjustments?
Yeah, again, I haven't had anyone ask that question. We would probably set up some type of a scenario where there would be some small fee, like maybe $1 a month or something like that, that in order to not be part of the other membership, just be part of the client manager. I've never had anyone put that out there for me, so this is kind of a new question. But I do understand how it makes sense. Some people may not want to have the fitness and nutrition and all of the other great features that are there, but you want to keep them in the client manager for the obvious, keeping all of your clients together. So I completely understand where your question is coming from. let me noodle on that and I'll get back with you with some type of an answer.
Because that would be $1,500 or $2,000 a month for me, because I have a lot of client history, and I only ported the active clients to Care Patron, and I'm only paying $1,000 for the year.
Okay.
So, which saved
And
me
so
money.
how many clients are you saying would be that $1,000? Is that, what's the number on that?
Well, that's,
Probably over 1,000. Go
yeah,
ahead.
1,500. I ported over, let me see if I'll have a number here. Let me get back to clients. It gives me a total number. I have 1,549 clients in the new database. I had over 4,000. I'm in business 20 years. I had
Okay.
over 4,000 clients in my history. So
And what are you paying to have those clients on this other product? You obviously already said that it doesn't have all of what we have, but again, some people might not want to use all the features that we have. So what are you paying now? You're paying an annual fee of $1,000?
that's it. And I'm only paying it because I have so many that I ported over that I needed the extra storage space that they are charging that amount. Otherwise, I could have operated on a free platform if I didn't have very many clients.
Okay. I have to get with my team and figure out what makes sense there, but I do understand where you're coming from. If you have a bunch of clients that aren't interested and they do the 30-day trial, but they don't renew, how does that work? So let me get with my development team and discuss what some options might be there. And now
Well,
having
can I just say this real quick for Charlotte and everyone else? Is this system, because as you guys have heard earlier in this call, it is completely custom coded. So a lot of the things that we have built for this is very different than, and I don't know if Evan's still on here, but is very different than anything that he has done for any other provider, because most of the time it's for their individual business. And Charlotte, I get where you're coming from as far as charging your patient, and Dr. Volner, I get where you're coming from as far as charging patients. And Don, what I think the best move is, because here's the reality, and this is why Don wanted to do this with me in the first place, is that we're a growing platform. And eventually you guys are going to start referring us and getting us more clients in that way too. So there will be people that want all of the upgraded services. There will be new providers that come on that will want to brand themselves as themselves versus as the Decent Med umbrella. But I do think, like Dr. Volner and like Charlotte said, in order to ensure that all of them don't lose patients, is they will get that their patients will get an opt-in. And Dr. Volner, to answer your question, and I don't think I've added this yet. There we do have, and this is for everyone in the call and everyone listening after the recording. We do have a referral program, and it's launching today, where all of you have a referral code. It's your business. And anybody that you add to the platform that joins, you will get 500 of the initial 1,500 in the opt-in. And the tier 2, and Donna haven't written all this in because it's not live on our platform yet, but our tier 2, that's 2,500, that will be for new providers to brand themselves. And you guys will get 825 for any provider that you refer us to.